Yo, we back with another one. Today we got something different than yesterday. That's what I like to try to do. Just keep that shit, kind of random. I like keeping my main base around music or hip hop or shit that I'm more attracted to. So it's basically more hip hop, the cartoon shit, anime, stuff like that, and just things in general culturally. This is the longest intro I've ever done. Let's hop right into it. Like I said, we're trying to get to 100,000, man. Like and subscribe. Let's get to it.
Is exactly what its title implies.
My bad, I just realized I didn't even say what the fuck we were reacting to. So look, I was gonna break down some of Drake's earlier shit, but I just happened to be on YouTube and there was a video where Homeboy was already doing that. Basically, the first 3 mixtapes, which is what I was gonna cover. Not the whole thing. I was gonna choose certain songs to break down. But homie said Drake's first 3 mixtapes are underrated, and I agree. So let's see what he has to say about it.
The starting part of an artist still shaping his sound, style, and identity. Released in 2006, this debut mixtape finds...
I'm gonna go back a little bit because homie just started off right out the fucking gate. No intro for this nigga either.
Drake standing at style is exactly what its title implies. The starting part of an artist still shaping his sound, style, and identity. Released in 2006, this debut mixtape finds Drake standing at the crossroads between ambition and experimentation, displaying a hunger that would eventually catapult him to global stardom. Across 23 tracks filled with skits, introspection, storytelling, and lyrical...
The thing about this is, nigga, 23 tracks on your first mixtape. You hungry. You out here really grinding, bro. You out here really rapping. It's your first mixtape, and nigga had 23 tracks with skits and everything. That's like when you know a nigga just has it, bro. Kind of reminds me of like Section 80 with Kendrick. Like the way he was rapping on there, it was like he was already Kendrick. You know what I'm saying?
Performances, Drake sets the foundation for many of the themes and stylistic blends that would define his career. The opening track intro skit sets the tone as Drake candidly introduces himself, acknowledging that he's not perfect, but he's here to grow.
I call it the Room for Improvement mixtape because I'm not perfect, and I bet neither of you if you listening, so you need to just...
That vulnerability immediately separated him from many of his peers at the time. The following skit, Pianist Hands, further drives home the mixtape's central metaphor. Drake may not have the technical mastery of virtuoso, but he's driven by passion and desire to improve.
I feel like that's a common thing throughout Drake's career, is that he's always been very vulnerable, very I don't want to say honest, but I want to say like he puts his emotions out there. You know what I'm saying? He's wearing his heart on his sleeve from the jump. He's straight up telling you like, yeah, I know I'm light skinned. Yeah, I know I look like a bitch. Yeah, I know I played a nigga in a wheelchair on a fucking teen show. I know, but I still could rap, bitch. And I that's what I'm saying. I fuck with that. I fuck with that. Accepting that you look weak and that people are gonna think you're weak, but you're still gonna keep coming with bars anyway. Not a lot of niggas can do that.
From there, Drake starts to show flashes of his artistic potential. Tracks like Special and Do What You Do highlight his both lyrical capability and his knack for choosing the right beat. Special finds him reflecting on past relationships and his desire for something more genuine, with a smooth R&B tinged instrumental and a strong hook from voice. Do What You Do flips Run DMC's Sucker MCs into a raw, gritty backdrop, allowing Drake to deliver one of the more aggressive flows on the project, capturing the essence of an up-and-coming rapper hungry to prove himself.
Getting down tonight if they say you're cutting. A lot of dudes in my city, they ain't saying nothing. A lot of records from...
Drake's chemistry with Nicholas F is undeniable throughout the mixtape, especially on tracks like Money Remix, AM to PM, and The Scorpio's Mind.
I never ever seen a picture of this nigga. This is the first time I done ever seen a picture of this nigga. He raps great. I don't know what happened to him. They must have fell out or something, or he must have gotten into some shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to look that up. What the fuck happened to Nicholas F? Because that nigga was spitting on that mixtape. Boy, he was spitting.
The former sees both MCs offering contrasting philosophies on money, with Nicholas F taking a darker, more personal approach.
Money's the reason my best friend got murdered. So with that in mind, I'm out trying to make it just to burn it. Milk the game.
AM to PM is a motivational anthem.
I really wish he would play more bars. So I think I'm gonna still break down some of those tracks, because he's not really stopping to really break down the tracks. He's more going over like what they mean as a whole, you know what I mean? Like he's going over like what the songs mean as a whole, or the whole mixtape, what it means coming from his perspective, like Drake's perspective, you know what I'm saying? Like what did that mean to him at the time? What did this do for him? Like, you know, what was this song saying?
Full of ambition and nighttime energy, driven by a laid-back instrumental that allows both artists to glide over the beat. A Scorpio's mind, meanwhile, leans fully into boom bap territory with confident, hard-hitting verses that embrace lyrical precision and competitive fire. This is one of the clearest glimpses of real hip-hop sensibility Drake would later balance with his pop sensibilities.
Hated by many, wanted by plenty, disliked by some, but confronted by none. Since they don't show.
Songs like City Is Mine and Try Harder show Drake's drive and self-belief as he raps about taking over the game and staying true to his path despite doubts from others. His writing shows flashes of depth, particularly on Stress, where he reflects the emotional weight of his upbringing and identity struggles. These moments of introspection help flesh out Drake's narrative and build emotional resonance.
This is my life, and so the rest has kind of been cool. Question what I've been through. I write a verse addressing it, and yes, I'm
The mix
That song Stress is definitely one of the ones that I'm gonna break down, because I feel like that's one of the tracks where he shows off a side that a lot of people will never see again, and a lot of people don't see now, you know what I'm saying, and they don't feel it now. This is his hip-hop side, to where I feel like he was really expressing all the things that he came up, you know, his dad not being around, him going through shit with his mom being sick, and her having her back issues and everything else going on, and, you know, him working as an actor, dropping out of high school, working as an actor, trying to provide and put food on the table, man, and help his mom out with, you know, medical bills and all that other bullshit. It is stressful as fuck, and that's why it's crazy. The song's called Stress. He breaks down a lot of shit in his life, man, and it's a really good way to understand where this light-skinned nigga is coming from.
tape also touches heavily on relationships, though with mixed results. Tracks like Thriller's Going, Make Things Right, and Video Girl find Drake diving into the complexities of love, attraction, and judgment, but they all don't stick the landing. Video Girl in particular borders on preachy, despite its intention to offer a different perspective. There's merit in the message, but the delivery feels more moralizing than reflective. On the brighter side, Come Winter stands out as one of the mixtape's best storytelling moments. Drake paints a vivid picture of a one-sided winter relationship, both painful and warm, with a two-part instrumental structure that mirrors the emotional highs and lows. His ability to blend narrative production and tone on this track shows a deeper artistic vision at work, even in his early career.
Forgot to mention, this girl that never gets to the beach. She lives just west of my street, so we destined to meet.
The R&B
Fire. You know what I'm saying? Just this whole first mixtape, it's like he really laid out everything on a platter for what he wanted to be, and for what he knew he was, and for what he was on his way to become. This is why I say, I don't think it's easy to tell if you listen real good that nobody's really writing for Drake. I mean, they're probably writing, you know, like I said, some of the hooky shit, some of the shit that's obviously not his style, like the Lil Yachty shit. Like, that obviously sounded like some Young Thug or Lil Yachty. I would have obviously thought it was, you know, he got it from one of them, and it was just a song that he just put on the album because it sounded really cool with Drake doing it, because it was different, you know what I mean? It was different, and it was a way for him to kind of sound more relevant, you know what I mean, in today's time, at that time, you know what I mean, at that specific time when that dropped. But overall, it's crazy. Like I said, a lot of artists don't do it this well, to where their very first mixtape can damn near be compared as far as how the songs lay out to something they put out now. You know what I mean? He's still talking about the same shit in a different way. You know, he's still talking about being number one. He's still talking about women. He's still talking about the different stresses in his life from not getting enough respect because of him being a half-breed and him speaking more correct, you know what I'm saying? He's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds very politically correct or something, or very polite, you know what I'm saying? I forgot the actual term, whatever, man. The nigga talk good, and so niggas think he's a bitch, okay? That's all, that's what I'm saying. Shit.
Influence cuts like Extra Special, All This Love, and About the Game offer a glimpse of Drake's eventual crossover appeal. While All This Love feels a bit too deep for an R&B pocket to match the mixtape's overall tone, Extra Special and About the Game are catchy, soulful, and motivational. Trey Songz' contribution to About the Game adds a nice melodic layer and boosts the track's replay value.
Fire. That's probably one of Trey Songz' coldest hooks right there. That shit fire. Baby, it's about the game. That was terrible.
Interspersed throughout are voicemail skits and outro sketches like UPA that maintain the mixtape's concept and narrative cohesion. The final track cleverly brings the listener full circle, with Drake's piano teacher still doubting his potential, reinforcing the idea that growth is a journey and improvement is ongoing.
What did I tell you about playing bad notes, huh? You're a failure.
In retrospect, Room for Improvement isn't just a mixtape, it's a blueprint. It's not flawless, but it's not.
Also didn't know that this nigga took piano lessons. So this nigga might really know how to play piano and shit low-key. And nobody knows.
Trying to be. Instead, it's a document of a young artist actively learning, reaching, and embracing the process. There's charm in the rough edges, sincerity in the themes, and undeniable potential in the performances. Drake's versatility, from introspective lyrics to catchy hooks, from boom bap flows to smooth R&B cadences, is all here, just in an earlier, more unrefined form. Released in 2007, Comeback Season.
So yeah, the first one, Room for Improvement, 23 tracks of heat. Obviously not all 23 tracks. Some of those are skits, but all together it makes one cohesive, great mixtape. I would say that's more like an album. But let's go, man. Comeback Season. It's a good one.
Finds a young and hungry Drake refining the voice he introduced on Room for Improvement. This mixtape is not only a follow-up, but a clear evolution, showcasing improved flow, greater confidence, more polished production, and deep emotional range. As the title implies, Drake is on a mission to prove himself, and he makes that mission known from the very first track. The intro kicks things off with drama and urgency. Drake sets the tone with raw emotion, declaring that he's hit rock bottom and has nothing left to lose. This isn't just a mixtape, it's his comeback. The passion carries immediately into the presentation, where he officially introduces himself as a force to be reckoned with. With dual instrumentals and a hungry delivery, Drake makes it clear that he's aiming for the top.
Shake up the world, that is what I am about to do. And homie, you ain't even on my out.
He leans.
Woo! Saying like a nigga turned blood, I came out the blue. The presentation is one of my favorite Drake songs. That nigga spits on there. And yeah, I think that's one of the first songs where he does a real hard 2-beat like switch on there like that, man, and he goes fucking stupid. You know what I'm saying? Craft, cheese, process. Like, bruh, we gonna break that one down, because the presentation it's one of them ones. It's one of them ones.
Leans into bravado on Comeback Season, flaunting his swag and rap skills with a confident bounce. The mixtape then takes a powerful turn to Closer, a standout track that captures the feeling of being on the brink of greatness. Andrina Mills' angelic hook complements Drake's impassioned verses about chasing dreams and putting smiles on faces, his own included.
Mr. Big Dreams, no tolerance. Cut you at the house and have a holler.
This song, this so far, this mixtape, just by the way the breakdown is, these are motherfucking classics. These are classics. When you put that shit on, imagine, like, look, whenever you're having a day, right, and you're like, damn, I kind of need to get some work done, You know what I mean? I've been thinking about these bills and this shit, woo, whatever. You put on Closer, that shit'll have you feeling like, yeah, nigga, you know what? Yeah, nigga, I just need to get up, you know what I'm saying? Get my shit together, nigga. Tomorrow's another day. I can do this shit. I'm getting closer to my dreams. I'm getting closer to my dreams. That's how that song have you feeling.
The midsection of this mixtape sees Drake experimenting with Love and Swagger. Replacement Girl featuring Trey Songz and Barry Bonds freestyle tap into more braggadocious and flirtatious energy, but while Drake's performance holds weight, these tracks feel less inspired and more formulaic. Fortunately, he regains steam with Going In for Life, a storytelling gem where he spins a clever narrative about illegal indulgence and future redemption, all delivered over a buttery smooth sample from Eddie Kendrick's Intimate Friends.
And it's the predicament that you found Drake in. The condo that I just purchased sound vacant.
Bruh, listen. Room for Improvement was cool, right? It was dope. But Comeback Season made me a forever Drake fan, because I heard that shit in real time. So that shit, it came out or whatever, and I heard the shit probably a little late, whatever. But I heard the shit, right? When I heard Going In for Life, I was like, yo, this nigga sounds like he's really hungry. Like, that nigga said, and that's why, he said, what? I do every verse like tomorrow, man. I'm about to go in, like I'm going in. Man, fuck that shit. Point is, nigga, look, bruh, that shit was hard than a motherfucker, bruh. I mean, the bars in that song, a lot of niggas, you can't fuck with it.
Tracks like Where To Now and Share touch on ambition and perseverance, but suffer slightly from repetitive production and structure. Still,
Where To Now does not suffer from anything. Where To Now is also another one of those ones, like, where he's rapping his ass off. I ain't gonna lie, Comeback Season was one of those ones where he is just, it's like Wayne on Sorry for the Wait, #1, where it's like niggas just rapping, nigga, like no matter what the beat is, it's slow, fast. I mean, most of these are all real smooth, right? They're all smooth. He still was in his smooth shit back in the day. You wasn't doing none of the horns and none of that shit like on Trophies, none of that shit. And he was on songs strictly smooth rapping over smooth beats, almost on some East Coast shit type shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not flawless. It's not flawless. But I would compare it to Lil Wayne, Sorry for the Wait 1, or maybe like Dedication 5 or something, because this nigga is just on every track where it's available. This nigga is spitting.
Drake's lyrics remain authentic, and his belief in his own rise is palpable, especially when he predicts a 2009 breakout, foreshadowing his future hit, Best I Ever Had.
I'm trying to make all my goals for the future come overnight. Goddamn, how time soars.
Ooh, see, that was Where To Now. Goddamn, my time soars. I'm trying to get the house in Toronto with palm floors. Come on, bruh.
Balances introspection with accessibility on Give Ya and Don't You Have a Man, both of which feature standout performances from Trey Songz, Dwele, and Little Brother. The latter is one of the mixtape's crown jewels, featuring sharp storytelling from all artists as they explore the complications of dating women already in relationships. Fonte and rapper Big Pooh deliver contrasting perspectives, adding emotional complexity and maturity to the song's narrative.
Don't you have a man? It's alright.
Bitches Crazy is another standout, offering one of the first glimpses of Drake's now famous blend of rap and R&B. With playful energy and vivid storytelling, he details a relationship with the woman so unhinged, she contacts his exes and even his mother. The humor, production, and melodic delivery makes this track especially memorable.
I'd like to know if there is a chemical imbalance.
As the mixtape progresses, Drake explores a variety of sounds and ideas. The Last Hope and Must Hate Money continue to showcase his growing versatility, whether it's motivational bars of the former or the southern trap-inspired confidence of the latter. Rich Boy.
The Last Hope is one of the most fire beats I had ever heard, nigga. Look that song up. We might break that one down too. Look that shit up though. The Last Hope by Drake. Great ass song. Cardinal Official. Fire ass verse on there to start the fucking song off. And Drake comes in and You know, he kind of, it's not even a crazy verse from Drake on that song for real, because Carter Now killed that motherfucker. And I feel like Drake just came in just trying not to get too overshadowed. But he kind of does on that song, I'm not even gonna lie to you. He kind of does. Because the Adrena Mill on the chorus, ooh, I gotta make it out and move swiftly. Bruh, she goes crazy. That hook is crazy. It seals the whole song together. And then Carter Now on there, god damn. It just goes so perfect. Drake was really just kind of on there because it was his song type shit. I think he only had one verse on there. You know what I mean?
Complements Drake perfectly, adding a dose of grit and bravado to their collab. Drake shows off lyrical dexterity on Asthma Team, and the remix of Do What You Do, where Malice of the Clips drops a stellar verse. Though Nicholas F is credited, he's oddly absent from this version. Still, the remix holds its own, with strong performances and a nostalgic 80s style beat.
Like slow motion, stepping out the phantom, all eyes on me, peeking and glancing, leaning on the...
I swear to God, I never fucking knew that was Malice. I never knew that was Malice. I never heard Malice on there. Now I'm thinking about it. I don't know if I gotta go listen to that song again now, because I thought I heard Nicholas F on that part. I could have swore I heard Nicholas F on that part, but the version he got Malice on there, which is kind of crazy, because the whole, you know, Pusha T shit that happened later on, you know, later on in his career. That's wild.
Easy to Please provides an interesting contrast between street life and simple pleasures, with Richie Sosa bringing a gritty balance to Drake's more laid-back perspective. Meanwhile, Faded finds Drake reflecting on his inevitable rise, even without the influence of drugs or alcohol. It's a short but satisfying track.
Guess you was the wrong, cause I don't do no drugs. Or maybe it's that drone, cause I sure do have a bug.
Towards the end of the mixtape, Drake dips deeper into R&B. Underdog featuring Trey Songz, Teach You a Lesson with Robin Thicke, and Missing You feel more like tributes to the original artist than fully fleshed out Drake records. Though his verses are still solid, these songs lack the same energy and purpose as the stronger rap tracks. Still, the experimental nature of these records reveals Drake's willingness to explore his sonic identity. Drake closes out with Man of the Year Freestyle, a fiery declaration of dominance alongside Lil Wayne, who provides an infectious chorus. It's the perfect bookend for a project defined by ambition, perseverance, and growing still.
And I give my girl whatever she desire. Have my niggas get whatever they require.
Another one. That's another one. Fire ass track. I think I might have heard that one on the radio. I ain't even gonna cap with you. I think I might have heard that one on the radio. I want to say Trey the Truth or Bun B. It was one of them two. I swear to God, it was one of them two. But they had a version with a third person on there besides them. Even though Drake got like three, I think Drake got like 3 verses, and then Wayne still has another verse on that bitch. And there's one version where Wayne doesn't have a verse. You know what I mean? If you was around during that time, you might have remembered that. Like it dropped. They dropped one without Wayne and dropped one with Wayne.
Drake ends the tape as he began it, with a chip on his shoulder and a clear vision of what's to come. With So Far Gone, Drake delivered not just a mixtape, but a cultural shift. Released in 2009, this project marks the moment Drake officially broke from the underground buzz to become a household name.
This mixtape was the start of the Drake you see today. Those first two was like a whole nother different, you know, hungry beast that was just more focused on, nigga, these bars are finna be immaculate. You know, I'm finna craft these songs as best that I can in ways that, you know what I mean, hip hop will respect it. With this one, it was like, okay, now I need to be respected by the world. Fuck hip hop. Not fuck hip hop, but it's not gonna be the main drive. The main drive is gonna be, you know, I took two of the most popular things that two sides love and put them together. You know, damn near everybody likes R&B. A lot of niggas that like R&B, there's a lot of niggas that listen to R&B and don't even listen to rap because they don't really fuck with the energy. You know what I'm saying? They like a smoother energy. You You know, they listen to old school, they listen to R&B. You know what I'm saying? All the Frank Ocean fans. You know what I'm saying? A lot of niggas don't really listen to rap. You know what I mean? A couple niggas then did some tracks with some R&B artists and maybe even did a couple little, you know, here and there's type shit. But he's like, no, I'm gonna mold it for real to where you're gonna respect me as a rapper and you're gonna respect me as a pop artist.
Mixing emotional transparency with musical experimentation, So Far Gone helped redefine what vulnerability and ambition could sound like in hip-hop. At its core, the mixtape is a reflection of Drake's hunger for greatness, for love, for longevity. From the opening track Lust for Life, it's clear that he's chasing more than just success, he's chasing fulfillment. The production, often slow and ambient, mirrors Drake's introspective tone. He speaks to his desire to succeed while acknowledging the jealousy and resistance he faces along the way. It's not just the words, it's how he says them. His delivery blends soft melodies with sharp bars, and that duality defines much of this project's strength.
I'm trying to do it all tonight. I got plans.
On Houston, Atlanta, Vegas, Drake shows his storytelling ability with a somber narrative about a complicated relationship with the stripper always on the move. The haunting production and melancholy lyrics capture the emotional dissonance between love and reality. The title itself, referring to major cities tied to strip culture, becomes a metaphor of instability and disconnection. It's one of the most emotional resonant tracks on the tape and highlights Drake's ability to explore romantic dysfunction with depth.
Hey there, pretty girl, you know.
Yeah, that's early singing Drake, as you can see. That's an early Drake hitter. I know it's a lot of people, that was a lot of people's favorite song back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people's favorite little slower hip hop song because there wasn't a lot of those anyway. You know, he's showing who he's becoming. He's showing where he's going with it. Like I said, that he's trying to put out that perfect balance of R&B and hip hop.
While the themes of ambition and love are present throughout, Drake also spends time exploring his doubts and insecurities. Say What's Real in the Calm are standout lyrical highlights where he unloads his internal struggle, industry pressure, and emotional fatigue.
Those two songs, very emotional. Very emotional. He gets deep into his emotional bag where he starts, you know, talking about his mom and talking about them arguing and going through shit because he's trying to chase his dreams. And it's hard when you're trying to do that because in the beginning there's not a lot of money. You're actually spending a lot more than you're getting back. You know what I'm saying? And in your head you have the vision like, yeah, this is all gonna work out. You know, it's all gonna come back. Don't even worry about this shit. Yeah, okay, yeah, we owe them 10,000. So what, mom? I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna have 10 million. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna throw that to you like nothing. We gonna pay this off like nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard chasing dreams. So those two tracks, he really touches on that and how that affects him. And it's very strong messages in there, man. Very emotional tracks. Real good. Listen to them.
For ghostly and minimalist instrumentals, Drake delivers raw, reflective verses that showcase his maturity and evolving perspective. These tracks help ground the mixtape and connect his larger-than-life dreams to the human emotions underneath.
Why do I feel so alone? Like everybody passing through the studio is in characters.
There are also moments of genre experimentation. Little Bit with Licky Lee has a dreamy atmospheric vibe that sounds closer to indie pop or anime music more than traditional hip-hop. Yet Drake adjusts effortlessly, floating between rapping and singing in a way that feels organic rather than forced. Likewise, Let's Call It Off, a rework of Peter Bjorn and John's song, finds him embracing indie rock elements. While not every listener will resonate with these sonic shifts, they're strong examples of Drake's willingness to experiment early in his career and to do so with intention.
You don't even smile for me.
See how similar that beat and the cadence and like the flow. Not necessarily the words, not necessarily how good he's singing or how bad he's singing, but the flow and the way he's constructing these verses and these songs. It's exactly how he does it now. That beat right there, you definitely could have heard that on one of his recent albums. You know what I mean? That sounds like Passion Fruit or some other shit like that, you know? This is his bag. This is where he showcased his bag. And he said, look, this is who I am, this is where I am. That's why I said I don't get where people are trying to put his, I don't know, you say his success in the hands of ghostwriters when this man showed you, this is me, this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? I believe definitely there's obviously, like I said, there's people that help out. There's people that help out with everybody's albums. But that doesn't mean they're writing their raps. And that is shown and proven by those who can sustain and those who are one-trick ponies or drop one album, two albums, and fall off. There's proof in the pudding.
Of course, no discussion, So Far Gone isn't complete without mentioning Best I Ever Had. This is the song that catapulted Drake into the mainstream. It's irresistibly catchy, emotionally direct, and showcases the full spectrum of his style, confident rapping, melodic hooks, and relationship-centric storytelling. Even for those who were skeptical of Drake at the time, this track is hard to ignore.
Baby, you my everything. You all I ever wanted. We could do it real big, bigger than you ever.
So look, I was a sophomore in high school, and we had this day in class where a teacher just said, you know, you can play any song, just play one song from your favorite artist, whatever. You know, everybody's playing like the generic shit that was popular at the time, you know, whatever, right? But they said they didn't want to play too much cussing, right? At the time, Drake was already my favorite rapper, and I had been talking about him, but motherfuckers didn't know who the fuck Drake was. They was like, who the fuck is Drake? Throw on some fucking, I don't know, Ludacris. I can't even remember who the fuck was popping at that time. But, you know, niggas is like not fucking with, they never heard this nigga, you know what I'm saying? So, man, I went in there and I played Best I Ever Had, and I swear to God, they fucking laughed and was like, bro, that shit is weak, bro, what the fuck? Like, woo. Literally, lo and behold, fucking like, I don't know, like 5-6 months later, that shit's playing on the radio. And everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. They were just fucking laughing at me though when I played the shit, like, fuck you guys.
However, not every song hits the same level. Successful, while built on a strong concept and a catchy Trey Songz hook, falls short due to lackluster instrumental.
Let's hold on. This is the first time I really disagreed with brother. Successful to this day is one of those tracks, like, I think I heard it on the radio last week. And I ain't bullshitting. It's one of those tracks, man, like everybody can feel it. Like you really feel it when you hear it. It's like it makes you feel like that because yeah, everybody wants to be successful. Everybody feels that shit. Like I just want to be successful, man.
And a forgettable Lil Wayne verse. That issue reappears on Ignition and Unstoppable, where Wayne's contributions often feel phoned in or out of place.
Okay. Ignition shit is fucking flames, nigga. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. That's straight bars. That's one of those tracks where it's just Drake and Wayne rapping, and there's no hook. It's just Drake raps first, I believe, like usual, like on Stuntin', on Dedication 5. Yeah, Drake goes first, spits a hard ass verse. Drake goes next. I mean, Lil Wayne goes next, drops a hard ass verse. I don't know what he's talking about. He must just not really be a Lil Wayne fan. And I'm a big ass Lil Wayne fan, so maybe that's why it hits harder with me and it doesn't hit hard with him. You know, more power to him, but yeah, I disagree with that. Unstoppable, I don't know.
Whether it's corny lines or overuse of autotune, his performances lack the focus needed to match Drake's energy. It's frustrating because Wayne, at this point in his career, was still a major influence, but his impact on this project is more missed than hit.
I got a condo in Miami and my doormat is always sandy, and I run Louisiana, but I've never put...
That wasn't Ignition shit. That was Unstoppable. Ignition shit does not sound like that.
Said, there are moments where collaboration works extremely well. On the night off, Drake and Lloyd glide over a smooth, sensual instrumental, connecting on themes of love, time, and regret. Uptown is
A Night Off is one of my favorites to this day. Fire, nigga. Him and Lloyd, great combo. Lloyd, there was a version where his verse is cut off, and then there was another version where his verse is on there. I don't know why So Far Gone had so much shit, but this is back like in the LimeWire era, and you know, who knows where the fuck we were getting these tracks from? You know, hot mixtapes or my mixtapes or, you know, fucking something. That Piff.
another strong showing, featuring solid verses from Bun B and one of Wayne's few redeemable features here. The celebratory nature of the track, paired with church organs and slick bars, feels like a victory lap for an artist who knew his time was arriving.
I'm doing classic shit in all my sessions. Other niggas' situations, they are.
Another classic track. Him, Bun B, Lil Wayne, go crazy. I think that song also has like 4 verses on it, because I think Drake has 2, and then Bun B and Lil Wayne.
Near the end, Drake leans into more emotional territory. Sooner Than Later and Bria's Interlude are reflective tracks focused on love lost and emotional longing, while the
Sooner Than Later was also like another first really good ass R&B smooth Drake track. Fire.
vocal quality of Bria's
Also Bria's Interlude
might be off-putting for some due to its voice style effect. The sincerity in the performances is undeniable. The tape closes with congratulations, a fitting send-off that finds Drake looking back on the grind and celebrating the payoff. He acknowledges those who doubted him, speaks confidently about his place in the industry, and most importantly, doesn't sound satisfied, he sounds hungry for more. The sample-driven instrumental lifts the energy, turning the track into a kind of personal anthem for self-validation and perseverance.
I see nothing from afar, but I'm far from nothing. Put on your poker face, I'll pull your card if you're.
Ooh, I feel myself. Suicidal bars, I kill myself. Bruh, that shit, crazy. That was a wild ass, that was an album, man. That's the one he always refers to when he's talking about Danner won a Grammy off a mixtape and all that shit like that. He's talking about So Far Gone. Shit was crazy.
So Far Gone is a landmark moment in modern hip-hop. It wasn't just Drake's breakout, it was the blueprint for an entirely new generation of rappers who blend singing and rapping, introspection, and bravado. Though not every track lands perfectly, especially due to some underwhelming guest features, Drake's vision is clear and his execution is mostly impressive. The mixtape's strength lies in emotional depth, experimental soundscapes, and Drake's ability to connect with listeners through his honesty and ambition. Whether he's rapping about heartbreak, doubters, or newfound success, there is a level of authenticity that shines through. So Far Gone captures Drake at a pivotal moment when he's still reaching, still vulnerable, and still unafraid to push boundaries. Even years later, the mixtape still holds weight, not because of what it meant at the time, but because it continues to sound personal, innovative, and artistically daring. This is where the journey truly began. Drake's first...
That's a fact. Like I just was saying, So Far Gone is where he basically became Drake and explained that to everybody else, and was making his mark known with the balance of R&B and rap with one person, not like a rapper featuring Mariah Carey. You know what I'm saying? A rapper featuring Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, it's actual, the whole track is one cohesive R&B hip-hop mold.
First 3 mixtapes, Room for Improvement, Comeback Season, and So Far Gone, aren't just early steps in his career, they're essential blueprints for the artist he will become. Each project captures a different stage of his evolution, the raw ambition and lyrical hunger of Room for Improvement, the sharpened confidence and emotional depth of Comeback Season, and the fully realized vision and genre-blending brilliance of So Far Gone. These tapes reveal more than just music, they show the growth of a young artist who was learning at the time, experimenting with sound, and challenging traditional definitions of hip-hop. They reflect Drake's willingness to be vulnerable, his ability to merge sharp lyricism with melody, and his instinct for crafting stories that resonate with listeners on both emotional and cultural levels. Though later albums would polish the formula, these mixtapes carry the heart and grit of an artist still chasing the dream. They showcase Drake before the stadium tours, before the global hits, before the headlines, when the hunger was still raw, the risks were still high, and the art was all that mattered. So if you only know polished Drake, go back. These mixtapes aren't just history, they're proof that greatness rarely arrives overnight. Sometimes it's found in late nights, flawed verses, quiet doubts, and fearless experiments. Drake's come up wasn't just meteoric, it was methodical, and the early tapes are where the story really begins.
Yeah, man. I agree. This man, it's like he took all the hate from his first couple mixtapes and took that as a learning lesson and was like, okay, look, they're never really gonna respect me as, you know, a hard rapper. They're never gonna respect me as this backpack rapper, even if I'm talking about this, even if I'm talking about that, even if I'm just talking about my personal life and me helping my mother out. I know they're never really just gonna respect me just for that. So I'm gonna have to come up with another way to really make this shit pop. You know, it's like he blended his black side with the side they were disrespecting, the white side. You know what I'm saying? He said that they think I'm soft, but I feel like I'm hard. I think he just pushed that and took that drive and took all that hate the same way he does now and makes it into music. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's soft beats, but he's talking about somewhat hard shit. You know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? He's flexing, he's popping it, even though it's still slow, even though it's still R&B, even though he's still singing to you and shit like that. All right, man. We're gonna wrap it up, man. That was actually really good. A really good breakdown of the first 3 albums. We're gonna break down a couple of the tracks for sure, because they're too goddamn good, and we're gonna break down some of those bars. But that's it, man. 100,000. We gonna get there, baby. I'll let your boy.